Our usual intro. Um, okay, we're live. Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi, Hotep, Alafia, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Kuti Tewala, race first, and all black laws for all black people. Good evening, brothers and sisters, first-time listeners, as well as first-time viewers on YouTube. Welcome to another edition of the Sonic and Ngoma on Do the Knowledge Radio. We are happy and blessed to be with you. Once again, we are your hosts, Oláyínká, Brother Khamuo, Heru, and Brother Farugh Maat. We are a unified body of concerned people, visual artists, musicians, business owners, researchers, truth seekers, teachers, and healers. Our goal is to create dialogue surrounding music, culture, politics as it relates to African people's sovereignty, autonomy, and economic empowerment. Here represented is the Urban Shamans Productions, the African Independence State Organizing Committee, and Maat Incorporated. Before we jump into tonight's topic with our guest, we want to let you know that part of the Sonic and Ngoma radio broadcast is brought to you by Urban Shamans Productions, the African Independence State Organizing Committee, Maat Incorporated, Farugh Custodial Maintenance and Home Renewal Services, the Temple of the Black Messiah, and of course, Do the Knowledge Radio. Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi. Welcome, brothers and sisters. Welcome to another edition of the Sonic and Ngoma. Of course, with my brothers, my warrior brothers, Brother Farugh Maat, Brother Khamuo Heru, was a very special guest tonight, someone who definitely wanted on the show for some time now, and we had the honor of having her, the one and only Dr. Adjua Heru. Welcome. Welcome to Sonic and Ngoma.
Brothers, Abibifahoodie, Mo, all that good, all them good African greetings.
Yes. That's right. That's right. So, yeah, there's so much we can get into tonight, and so much to talk about. Of course, I'm not home. I'm not in Philly. Okay. But one of the things I wanted to kind of throw out a little bit, and I talked to Khamuo a little bit earlier about it, but I hadn't talked to you about it, Farugh, and I hadn't talked about it to you, Dr. Adjua. The climate in the city right now, what's happening since, the killing of Walter Wallace. What's the climate? What's the feel? Because I know that, I was only hearing information secondhand, third hand. I'm not home. So, right. I got to kind of live vicariously through you all. Y'all are there. Mm-hmm. So, just a little feel of what's going on. And because I heard it's really tense right now in Philly. And Khamuo was saying that earlier to me, that it's really tense right now. I just wanted to know, and also gives our viewers and listeners a little bit of opportunity for people who are on ground zero to really let them know, what is going on in Philly right now.
Chris, I let you go first.
Like you said, it's tense, it's electric, it's like you can see and feel the anger. I know in the Black community, you can see and feel the anger. And people have been talking to me anyway about their obtaining their LTC license to carry, because we are more than tired. Like it's not going to stop. And so we are way past the point of, when Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, when they, decided to fight back or free themselves through taking action. We are past that point at this time, and so I think we have to do things to keep ourselves stable and be strategic in maintaining ourselves, because I think that they want us to, as the youth say, bring smoke, because they got things planned, for us. Even when we're being docile, things are happening to us. and
Right.
they are continuing to make money off of Black bodies. So I'm just with whatever our people want to do in terms of maintaining themselves and protecting themselves first, protecting ourselves first, and of course maintaining ourselves. So yeah, you're right. It's very electric, very heightened tension here, in the city.
Yeah.
I
So
would.
okay, good. Come on.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. The atmosphere is very intense. You could cut it with a knife. Just going out, you could feel the intensity. I think that our people had enough. When I hear youth speaking intensely about what's going on, this is when you know that like this has penetrated all of us in such a way that this is a call to action for the organizers, the activists to really step up and really do what we do, giving guidance and direction and organizing. This is the time in which the individuals who proclaim to be leaders in our communities, advocates and those who guide other, our young people to step up. I see a lot of things happening, in lieu of this tragedy. I see more young people organizing. I see more concerted efforts to do more things. Farugh participated last week with me in an ongoing community drum circle in which we do. And the elders spoke up. They said, what can we do? As a community, and it started off a very, very powerful conversation. I like the things that were being said, and I feel like the people who are in the room are the people who I know who are who put the foot to the pavement and do the work, but is requiring for us to step up a little bit more at this time. I definitely, it's a sense of, people are, very, very, I wouldn't say paranoid, but it's a sense of like, watching your back. They have a caravan of Trump supporters, rallying throughout the city. And then, I tell people, just be aware. Don't walk as nothing is going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, I can go on, but yeah, that's the climate right now.
Well, yeah, I'm not in the city as much as I used to. Been traveling, then I live out in Horsham now. But when I did go down there this weekend, I felt a sense of it was heavy. It was definitely heavy energy that was there. But also in that, I feel the spirit of warriorship, collective warriorship amongst everyone, and that's a very positive thing. And so then it is up to us to step up, provide that guidance, and give that spirit of warriorship purpose. Because I know that's what happened with me. My life became more fulfilled when I had purpose. The energy that I had, the dysfunction or whatever the case may be, the anger, the fear. Once I had a sense of purpose, I knew how to direct and manage those emotions. And so I feel like that's going to be our purpose in our job now, to really instill guidance and instill purpose. And I like it. I like the fact that it's a sense of urgency now. It's a sense of self-reliance. And these are the things that we've been putting out there forever. Teaching about the Marcus Garvey and Elijah Muhammad, and those who laid those blueprints down about self-reliance. And now they see the reason for the self-reliance. And so this is a very powerful time and a very opportunistic time for us. So anybody that's talking about Pan-Africanism the importance of Pan-Africanism. This is the time to really spread the gospel of Pan-Africanism and make those solutions practical in our daily lives, as opposed to just wait for an event to become Pan-African. But Pan-African is a way of life, and this is an opportunity to really express that to the masses.
I mean, if anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about brother Wallace Wallace was killed in Philly about well over a week ago by Philadelphia police, Philadelphia pigs, shot multiple times. How many times? What?
14.
I'm hearing
14.
number 14 times. Yeah, I heard 17 initially.
Yeah.
By Philadelphia police. You know, it's one thing to see things like this happen in other parts of the country, but to have it happen in your own backyard gives you a whole nother sense of it. You have the anger, you have the outrage, similar to what George Floyd had to deal with, being killed in St. Paul, Minnesota. So you felt what they felt, but when it happens in your own backyard and everything that's happening in Philadelphia right now, even before this happened, you know, even after the George Floyd situation went down, and then, you know, subsequently on top of that, the high number of homicides going on in the city of Philadelphia, you know, and then just doing some research today that Philadelphia, of all cities, is the #1 major city in poverty. It actually is head of Detroit, and it's the head of New Orleans. Philadelphia is #1. And that 50% of the Philadelphia population, because we make up well over 60% of the population as Africans in Philadelphia, are living below the poverty rate. 50% are living below poverty. And it's real. It's very, very real. Statistically, you know, these are the numbers that have been said to come up for Philadelphia right now, and it's not good. It's not good. And then to have this happen on top of that, with this whole election thing happening, and you know, we thinking that, you know, by getting Trump out of office, it's going to end. It's going to end police, you know, police victimization of African men and women and children. Come on.
Not hardly.
But you see,
I want to mention
of the system. Like they are a byproduct of the system. So what we expect? It's like, what do we?
And when you talk about our backyard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is why, like, we have to know our story. When you talk about Philly's backyard, like Philly is the second place in this country where a bomb was dropped on Black people. So like when you start talking about, you know, them shooting us, like, you know, it seems par for the course. It's tragic. And I think that the most tragic thing of this, I don't know if it's true, but I did read or hear that this young man had 9 children and one on the way.
Wow.
Like, really? You know, this horrible. And so, you know, they put our families remain in crisis and unstable so that they can be further split up to become fodder for prison systems and to be sent to war, you know, for this country at its whim. And this is why, like, we need to connect our families, and our children have to know who they are, where they're going, where they come from, and where they can go, so that, you know, they don't become part and parcel in terms of being used for whatever people that hate them want to use them for. No, like that can't keep happening. That has to stop. That has to stop right now. You know?
Yes.
So this is why it's very important to be connected and know, you know, your ancestors, your elders. Teach your children how to be spiritual in an African-centered way, you know, and to always keep them aware, tell them who they are, what your expectations of them are, how they are connected to you, why it's important that you do what you are telling them to do, you know, you have to tell them all that. And then more importantly, you have to set that example and be that role model for them. You have to do that because you can talk to them all you want, but they're going to watch what you do. And so if you're not doing what you're saying, you know, it's confusing for them, and it becomes you know, contradictory. They think of you as a hypocrite, or they think that you're lying to them. You don't want them, and we don't want that. You know, you don't want them to think that you are lying to them. You know, because then that makes it like unstable in terms of your relationship with your children and in your household. So this, you know, this is why we have to know our stories, tell our stories, correct the narratives. You know, our children are always exposed to negative narratives about who we are as African people, as Black people, where we come from, how we look, how we talk. You know, they literally take our culture and sell it back to us, you know? And that's something that we can cut into ourselves. Like Marimba Ani says, we have to stop telling them who we are as African people, more or less, and showing them who we are as African people. We have to stop that. And then on the other end, stop, you know, we need to stop purchasing our culture from them. You know, I can go down to the it's a so-called convenience store at the end of my block, and it's run by the Asians. So, you know, I go in there very, you know, infrequently, or when I have to, you know, and then when I feel like I have to, and I go in there, and you know, I always African, you know me, like you see me coming. And so she said one day I was there, she said, "Oh," so she's pointing to these earrings, these Afrocentric earrings that she sells. And I said, "Oh." I looked at them and I was like, "I'll be darned if I buy anything from you. I don't care how cheap they are. I will not buy anything from you." And even though our culture is for sale worldwide, like if I'm buying it, I'm buying it from one of us. I'm not buying it from anybody else. You know, it has to be one of us. It's like so those things that we can control, like how we spend our money, where we spend our money, and with whom we spend our money with. This is something too that we you know, can share with our youth, and even more so, it's we have to be more financially aware, you know. So that too, that's a very important part, that we build wealth and finance, make sure that we manage our finances. And we have to learn that so that we can do that. Because we're so much, look, we're coming from commodity, we're still commodity, you know, to consumer. So, you know, when we talking about $1 trillion market, like we have money. You know, we produce money and we make money. So, like, you know, we have to teach our children young, you know, as soon as we can, you know, we have to teach them. So
Are these some of the things that inspired you to write the classic acclaim, which is the acronym for African Cultural Consciousness, Leadership, Awareness, Instructional Model, Act to Clean the Minds of African Youth. Let's talk about acclaim. I opened it up the other day. It's been a minute, but I opened it up again. I'm reading so many books, but yeah.
Yes, I know, right? You too. I do that too. I'm reading like 4 books at a time.
Exactly.
Acclaim, yeah. So, you know, I taught in traditional public school for 11 years, and then I taught in an African Center charter school for 11 years. And so when I was in the charter school, we had the freedom to do, you know, pretty much what we needed to do with the children, and then the state started interrupting, you know, coming in and you know, tweaking this and tweaking that, and you know, restricting this, do this, do that, putting all these so-called obstacles in the way. But one of the obstacles I found was that when we would bring in younger teachers, you know, they felt like, okay, well, I have my degree, be it from a PWI, predominantly white institution, or HBCU, historically black college or university, whichever one they were coming from, they felt like, oh, well, I had my degree. And depending on what they majored in, you know, they were not willing to learn more information so that they could present their specific subject in an African-centered way to the children, thereby connecting them to that particular topic. And so, you know, what I found was that the children, because our children are so genius, like they, you know, they are ancestors returned. So they, you know that they've been here before, you know. So they would challenge their teachers who didn't really know what was going on, and they would watch what you did. And so every time something happened, like for instance, say if I was in a teaching setting, and I was in school and I was around young children, then you know they would say, oh, well, you know, yeah, what do you think about voting? What do you think's going on with the voting? I'm going to give them an African-centered perspective, and almost everything that they came to me with, I would give them an African-centered perspective. And so they was like, well, why do you do that? Like, you always, you know, it's always about black people. I'm like, I'm black, you black, we African. Like, what else is there? Why should we talk about the perspective of others unless we are talking about how to strategically place them in terms of engaging with them, or if they happen to be, you know, bothering us in some kind of way, shape, or form, you know. So yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do, and not because everybody else do it. That's what we do. That's why you still here. That's why you standing here in front of me. That's why we are survivors. Like, you standing here in front of me because your ancestors who came before you and came before me stood up and they did the same thing. That's why you here today. You know, but like, again, it's all about connections. And so what I'm finding in our communities is that a lot of us are disconnected. I like what my sister friend Empress Chi, she said, we don't have communities anymore. We just have neighborhoods. You know, because like, you know, when you have a community, you're talking about coming together in unity. That, you know, that just doesn't happen for us because we're distracted. Because we're distracted and we're disconnected, you know, and it's not that it's something that can't be taken care of, and it is taken care of. Again, because like I said, we're here, we're all here. You know, we all have, I think all of us have children, and you know, okay, so we're sharing that information with our children. And so what I found with Acclaim was that teachers needed a model that they could incorporate into their classroom. You know, but it requires work. Like it requires work to use Acclaim. So like, you have to know your information. If you are teaching math, then and you're talking about the Pythagorean theorem, then that's not where you start for our children.
That's right.
You want to start with Pythagoras teachers who were African. That's where you better start at, because and then you could talk about Pythagoras, and then the children will see that Pythagoras theorem is not really his in the first place. It's Africans, you know, it's African people that showed him that light, you know. And so you know, is that kind of information. And then also when you talking about your families, their families, that, you know, how it's important that, you know, they're connected to their families. And every time I engage with African children, they always want to know, African youth, they always want to know, are you doing it too? You know, So are you doing it too? So they say, okay, you said we need to know about our family. Do you know your family? I was like, yes, I know my family. 9 generations on my father's side and 5 generations on my mother's side. Now what? Now, can you do the assignment? Can you do what I asked you to do? You know. And then I always say I have this funny story with one of my students who was he was from Liberia. And so I was teaching the children about in a claim, I recommend you start with the appendices to really get. Oh no. Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. Sorry, my phone, okay. To really get an idea of how much information is in this book and that you can use, especially now while we're homeschooling, right? And I hope that that's something that continues. But that when we're talking about children, I'm teaching them the African date, the African year. So right now it's 6461, because what you do is you add 4240 to whatever the Gregorian year is. This year is 2020, and because the new year starts in August, so it's 61. And then the Akan year is 13,000. It's 13,061, I think.
61.
13,061 things. Yes. And so I always, I would require that they put the African date on their paper. But anyway, so when the Liberian young man came to class, they was like, what year is it in Africa? What year is it in Africa? And he was like, it's 2000 whatever, like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, and so they was like, see, it's the same year in Africa. I said, nope, that's not the point. That's not the point. So the young man said, well, what is mama? What you talking about? What you talking about? So I explained it to him. And so he was like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I said, well, okay, ask your ex. I said, do you have an elder? You have elders that you could talk to in your family that know your family story? He said, yeah. I said, okay, talk to the elders in your family. So it was about a week later, and he came back and he said, Mama, you was right. I said, I know. He said, you was right. He said, you were so right that, it's later. It's even more years than that. I said, yes, it is. I said, but I'm only sharing with you what I know of in terms of the information that I've been exposed to. And so ever since then, he just loved me. He had fell in love with me. He just, he believed everything I said. I don't lie to him, but he was really like, he was an excellent student, and he just like, really like respected me. And then my other students also fell in line. So the point is that when you get in front of African youth, study first, know what you're talking about, because even though they don't know it, they're gonna challenge you. And it's not a thing that you are convincing them, trying to convince them or buy into the information that you're sharing, but it is factual information in terms of the African story, in terms of the African house story. So this is where a claim came out of, is that it's designed to help. Sorry, it's designed to help children. It's designed to help children and parents and teachers to stay focused and to really give that optimal education, optimal knowledge, interchange and exchange of knowledge, because you learn from your children too. So it's not just this thing that teachers are teaching the children. No, you learn from them too. So you want to give them that optimal information. You want to give them the best, what is beneficent, as Anna Julie Cooper talks about, what is beneficent for them. What makes them the best that they can be. And so that's the kind of information and knowledge that you want to share with them, because then when you do that, it helps them to become strategic in everything that they do, think, and everything that they think, say, and do. That concept of Siahu and Heka, speak before you think, before you act.
Brothers, floor is yours. I know you guys have questions for EI.
Khamuo?
Oh, definitely. So, I mean, there's so many things. You know, I was just thinking about the approach. You spoke about it in the book about approaching our children, trying to approach the whole child. Okay. You know, and I think that a lot of times when we're dealing with our youth, whether we're dealing with them in a classroom or we're dealing with them, in on the streets, and when we see them, I shared a story of how I interacted with a group of young men out and brought in chestnut slap boxing, and I mean, people were just like cringing and going the other way, and it was like, okay, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with them? I mean, there is, and the father in me and the man in me is like, yo, stop this nonsense, But at the same time, I have to relate to being a young man, having that, energy to, be out there and challenging one another. That's a part of our culture too. But at the same time, I see the threat, so to speak, that they pose, just being young black men out there and bearing their aggression. I mean, so instead of like telling them, yo, y'all need to do this, being with them, just, can I sit in here? I pulled out my drum and started drumming with them. I didn't judge them. I didn't condescend on them. I didn't, dictate what should be happening. I just sat with them. And so, it's an approach that is necessary, because we gotta relate to our children. We gotta relate to our youth, as you just said, being able to learn from them. Their experiences, a lot of times we try to compare like how we were raised or growing up in the 90s for me per se, compared to right now. I mean, really, I can relate, but I can't relate to some of the things that they're dealing with. I wasn't dealing with,
That's right.
the issue of sexuality. It's different. It's different when I was
Ooh,
coming up.
yes, especially that.
So yeah, definitely that. So really hearing where they are with that. I mean, how they feel about that, and I mean, so I guess my question is just in that way, being approaching our children from a relating standpoint, opposed to being I'm going to tell you the way it is.
Right.
I think that sometimes we go wrong and we put up a wall between our young people and ourselves when we approach them in that way. So I just want to hear more about that.
So I okay, with my children. So I kind of no, I have a matriarch, like it's I do hear them. And, however, I put things in place. So for instance, my children, they were raised, they did not celebrate the holidays. And so I picked the holidays that we celebrate. Of course, had to do with African life experiences and African people. So my children, they really wanted to do All Hallows Eve, right? And so I was like, I just was like, no, we don't do that. We like, that's not what we do. We're not doing it. And if you want some candy, I'll buy you some candy. But in that costume, we're definitely not doing any
I
of
know
that.
that.
So
I know that.
I just would set the tone, even though I heard them, but I just like, okay, I hear you, but we're not doing that. Now, if I was, a parent, I'm still a parent. I'm saying my children are grown. But if my children were say we had this I don't know what I would do with this gender thing that's going on. I probably would still be steadfast and man, woman, because I know men and women coming together, that's what helps us to continue bringing forth ancestors. And so that's powerful for me. And this is why, like, when you practice in African, whatever your African spiritual preference is, that incorporate, make sure that you allow the children to be a part of that and to develop their own comprehension of that and how that relates to them. It's very, very important. So that, and even in my classroom, I was like that. It was a matriarchy in my classroom, I proved myself worthy of that matriarchy. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, you can trust me. You can come to me and tell me things and we're going to talk about it. I might not give you what you want, but we can talk about it. And I'll tell you why. If I say no, I'm telling you why I said no. And I'm in touch with a lot of my students that I've taught. And so it's just all love when we see each other. I had one person in particular, and she was real flip with the mouth. And I was like, okay, but she was smart, very intelligent. But she just was against the grain of what was happening in terms of her learning environment. And come to find out that as she got older, it was just so many things that we had engaged with in terms of our learning process, our interchange and exchange of information, that as she got older, she was like, wow, the EI was right. She just like oh man. So by the time we ran into each other again, I mean, she bowed down on the ground. And I was like, girl, get yourself up. It was just love. And she's a teacher now. And so it's just real powerful that like when they experience what the information that you're sharing with them, that when they experience like it, they run into like, okay, well, you have told me about this, and then they develop a strategy, to deal with that. So it's just very powerful to like know what you're talking about before you get in front of them, like, and if you're sharing information, you can share your position and then you share information with them, tell them about be able to tell them about the life stories and our stories of African people in reference to everything, anything and everything, including these gender issues that are popping up, today.
Wow. Profound. I just want to thank you for sharing this time with us,
Sure.
sharing this sacred space with us, sharing your experiences and your knowledge and your scholarship with us. So I thank you for that.
Sure.
I like the stories that you're sharing because it talks about the importance of relating to our people and connecting with our people. You have a better way of having a better influence on them if you are connecting with them and you're relating to them. And so when you talk about dealing things from an African perspective, and you talk about the African scholars who taught the white people these things, it creates a hunger inside of them. It creates a thirst. It awakens what's in their DNA already. It wakes up the ancestral DNA. So what y'all just shared is very important. A lot of people don't get that, and that's why white teachers are not the best fit for teaching our children.
Yes.
So I just want to get that out.
They got that out. This is very true.
You use the term transmitting cultural survival. What do you mean by that? And how can we do these things? And how can we do daily practices to increase our cultural, our African worldwide view?
So, I mean, girls should be taught how to be women, and boys should be taught how to be men. And you know, it's certain things that are exclusive to each one of them, and then there are things that they both share, together. And so, but if you are an adult, because you can be an adult and not have anything to really share, because you just you just existing, or you haven't figured it out yet, And so if you are an adult who, you don't have anything to share, most young people are going to they'll see that, they'll figure that out about you, and so they won't engage with you. They think that you don't know anything, and it might not be that you don't know anything. It just might be that you're still in process. And so I'm saying that our youth, they can see that, but if you're still in process, or that you have just given up, they can see that, and they don't. Most of them don't want that. Most of them don't want that. And so if you are a person of despair and hopelessness and all that, they don't want that. They want a victorious. They want to see you display and be really internalizing a victorious consciousness. And so you're always looking for the win, and that's good. That's a good thing, and that's what we have to do. So for instance, if you say to youth, like they'll say, oh well, oh we were only slaves. No, I mean, that's because you're trying to start your history in a Gregorian calendar sense,
Right.
And so this is why I had to teach them that, the different calendar years and stuff. If you're starting your history in a Gregorian calendar sense, then even that's not true, that we were just slaves, because Africans were here too already,
That's right.
And so they like, and they like, how do you know all of this? Because I can do the same thing that you do. Read a book, like read.
Right.
I give you I'm giving you the information. Read that information, And so they would sometimes it would be sessions in the school, things were happening in the school, and they were in all the other classes, and they would come to my class, and they like, you're the only one giving work. Oh, well, that's good, because that means you should have the energy to get this work done, since I'm the only one giving work today. Consistency is good. And then they your consistent, when they see your consistency, they will be consistent too. So it's like whatever you do, they're going to do too, and they want to please you. Our children, all our children, they want to please us. So you tell them what you want from them, and they try to, they do their best to, give it to you.
Thank you for the expectations.
Oh, definitely.
Expectations.
So yeah, cultural survival is very, very important. And so we have to, first of all, know what our culture is, and be able to explain the differences, in our culture, and also the similarities. Now, you can't do that if you haven't studied it. If you don't know that information, you can't share it. So, like for instance, if you drumming and you using the djembe drum, right? And you should be able, and if you're teaching your youth to use the djembe drum, about the additional African cultures that also use the djembe drum. How they're made, how they are used in the different African cultures. Even the word djembe, like break it up. What is that word? What does it come from? You know, how come it's spelled DJEMBE, but it's pronounced JEMBE? All of that. Bring it up, because that DJ alone, the two letters DJ alone, like you could take that to Kemetic language, and of course language culture. So it helps to learn, learn some African language. I'm not fluent in African languages, but I know many African language words, and I use them all the time, as often as I can, as often as I can. So cultural survival is key, and it's mandatory. It's a must. Whatever cultural survival information that you have, instill it in your children right now. Like, as soon as they, as soon as you can, as soon as they walk and talking, everything. Even before they're talking, it's in the womb. Sing African songs to them. Like all of that is very, very important. It's key. It's what we have to do. Like Marimba Ani says, we have to not Marimba Ani, Aye Kwe Armand. He has a book called The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born. I love that. I love that title. And it's just real. I love that title. And our children are like, wow, I'm in love with African people. I love African people. I love us. Like, we're here. So happy to be, so happy that the ancestors allowed me to come back and do the work that they sent me here to do. And I say to them every morning for that.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
With your experiences in public school and in charter school teaching African culture, have you encountered parents who was resistant towards the information that was being shared? I can share experience. Recently I teach culture in a middle school, and we're in Zoom. We're in the Zoom world, so parents are listening to the class. So in this particular school that I work is a predominantly Muslim population, and so I'm teaching songs, I'm teaching rhythm, and one of the students, I don't know how true it was, but when it's, so I'll give you the explanation. So he says, we're singing a song, and I'm going with all testing them all, play the rhythm, and he's like, no, I can't do music. And I'm like, what? You what do you mean you can't do music? And he's like, I'm Muslim. I we don't do music. And I said, I think you're just saying that, but if that's what you practice, if that's what you practice, I'll honor that. But later, we spoke with the principal supported what we were doing. But in your experiences, have you encountered resistance from parents, with the cultural curriculum that you were teaching and presenting? And how you dealt with it? And how did you deal with it?
Yes, again, it was I had to prove myself. So parents will say, oh, well, why are you giving them this assignment, or why are you giving them that assignment? And I always had a reason for why I was giving them that assignment, or why I was sharing that information, with them. So in particular, I'm gonna say on a high school level, like I had students who did not know the real names of their grandparents. Like they just like, that's Nana and Papa. What? What do you mean? Like go and find out their name? And so of course it was a thing where they asked their parents first. So it was like, well, Mom, Dad, I gotta get the name of Nana and Papa because my teacher said I gotta find out, and I gotta know. I need to know why we are in Philly. Like, how did we get here? And so some parents thought I was, intruding. I was being intrusive, and I said, listen, This is not about you. This is about your child. So they need to know who their parents, the names of their grandparents, especially the surnames, and so and then I said, and they need to know the story of how their family got to Philly. Like that's a life story. That's something that's going to empower them. Like they need to know that, all right, well, I got family in Arkansas and I got family in Michigan. Okay, so I would have them do like a family journey map, so like from your grandparents, I would say, because great grandparents, sometimes that just wasn't gonna happen. But from your grandparents, how did your family get to be here in Philly? And that brought up conversation among parents. Sometimes parents didn't want to have them conversations. I had to remind the parents that it was for the children. It was about the children because it would empower them in terms of comprehending who they are, where they come from, why they belong, to you as their parents, to their grandparents, to their cousins, aunts, uncles, and it also allowed them to really like count the number of people in their family. Some of them, a lot of people don't know that. Like off the top of your head, most of us don't know how many people are in our family. And if we go back far enough, we walk every day with like 8 million ancestors.
Yes.
Like that's powerful. You walk with 8 million. That's a lot of people.
That's it.
That's a lot of people. We walk with 8 million. Each one of us walking with 8 million a piece. Like we with as they say, mob deep. We mob deep. Like it's a lot of us. It's a lot of us.
Yes.
And it was a lot of us, that went back, that returned to the ancestral realm under some really nefarious circumstances and too early, But at the same time, we're still survivors. Like we're here. We are here.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have a personal question. How did you ever get the opportunity to homeschool your grandchild?
I did not.
Okay.
Because my daughter is actually doing that now.
Okay.
So she's a teacher, so she's homeschooling them now, and I'm doing my mom. So my mom is, she's 86. 86. So I take care of her, and and then I pop in, when I can with the grands, and they're doing great. They are so intelligent and smart, like their mom and grandmom and their parents. That they just got it. Like they walking like that. So the other day I posted a video of them playing. They play soccer now, and so I talked with them, and I said, you like soccer? And to my granddaughter, she's like, yeah, I like it. I said, okay. I said, well, you're gonna own the team. And she said, a team? I said, yeah, you're gonna own the team. Like that's how we have to talk to our children. Like, like, okay, you good, that's good, you playing the sport, but you gonna own the team. Claim it. Like put it out there into the universe and claim it, So yeah.
The reason why I asked that, I watched the video a while ago, and that was like one of your desires.
Yes.
And
it still is. I really wish that I had the time to do it, but I don't, because of my mom.
Right.
So, every chance I get, I engage with them. Matter of fact, I found these two Adjua symbols, and I said I was gonna put it on a chain and I'm gonna give it to them, to my grandchildren. So I was like, I'm always they kind of, I think they kind of think that I don't know, I don't really know what like what they really think of me, but they know that I think they think I'm bossy. Yeah, I know they think I'm bossy, and that's okay. They love me, I love them, so it's all good.
Hey, Oba, it's on you, buddy.
What has it been like? Just a real quick question. What has it been like for you to raise up your children, your grandchildren, in and around the culture? Because you're not a newbie.
Right.
You've been around this culture for some time now. I mean, I've known you and known of you, yeah, for many years. What has it been like? Because I only say that story relating to the fact of pretty much me being a child raised within the culture all my life. This is all I have ever known from both my mother and father, both my and my papa. But what has it been like? What are some of the challenges? Because I know for myself, I know for Farugh, I know for Brother Khamuo, in raising our children as much as possible in this culture, there are challenges. It's not easy. Especially when you're living in the wilderness of North America, where everything that is anti-African, that everything is taught you to be anti-African, anti-African. I mean, and that we as Africans must break away from all European linkages. And European linkages for most of our people, not for some, but for most of our people, it's hard to break away from. Hard to break away from the Halloween, the Christmas, the Easter. It's hard to break away from the idea of rugged individualism, capitalism. It's hard. These are ideas and concepts that have been inundated and almost like on remote control operates through many people, many of our people, many people who are, are African genotypically and phenotypically. So what are the challenges and what have been some of the successes in raising your children and your grandchildren as much as you can within African culture?
So with my children, it was wonderful. Like they loved it, But, I mean, that's all they knew. And so what I did was I would keep them for the most part. I would keep them in the culture, like around my friends who were also like a part of the culture and stuff. And so it was pretty much all they knew. Now my daughter, when she got to college, she and began interacting with different people. And I know one thing she would tell me, she was like, Mom, you taught me a lot. I said, yes. She's like, she didn't realize independent, how independent she was. Because when she was in college, her cohorts, they were more dependent on their parents than she was, And I said, yeah. I said, because you're the one that's going to have to do, you have to do these things. You have to take care of yourself, while you're away and make strategic, uh, um, make strategic moves and navigate your way, So yeah, you have to know all of that. And she was like, and a lot of people don't like they don't know, they have really different ideas about what it is, to be African. And so my daughter's name is she's Nigerian. She has a Nigerian name, so her dad is Nigerian. So she would encounter, a lot of different people. And I told her early on, I gave her the ammunition, and we have to give our children that cultural ammunition. So when they have an African name, like you have to make sure that they comprehend know how to say their name, spell it, and know what it means, and know why they have that name. Not that they have to tell anybody that, but just to have that information, it helps them to be solid and taking a stand and standing in their African circle in terms of who they are. So we had that, and then like I think my son, he's still kind of navigating. I think he's navigating his way around. He's a techie, so he's very. I call him a little. You probably hearing me now, but I call him a little eccentric. But he's a techie, so he likes computers, and he also does construction work. So my daughter, she's a Rhodes Scholar. She went to Peru and studied for about 2 weeks, and she's doing her thing. She's she does the spelling bee with the Mighty Writers out here in West Philly, and she's an excellent teacher. I was actually shocked that she wanted to be a teacher because I was always doing work, always like every day, at night, weekends, holidays, just grading papers and doing work. And I thought that she was going to be a photographer because she was into cameras when she was younger. She was into cameras and stuff. But then she turned around and she went and got a double degree in classics and Afrocentric studies, they call it, at Harvard. So she studied under Dr. Greg Carr, and like I said, she has her
Right.
she's a Rhodes Scholar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So am I saying the right scholar? I hope I'm saying the right one. Wait, I hope I'm saying the right one. I don't think it's Rhodes. Huh?
Cecil Rhodes, yeah. Cecil
No,
Rhodes, yeah.
no, but
Rhodes
it's
Scott.
another one. She gonna tell. I hope she talking to me. I hope I'm saying the right one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not, but yeah, it's one of them. Anyway, they picked her up because she applied for it and she won, and she went to study for 2 weeks in Peru, and she was sharing with me that even there, like she was experiencing uh racism, like she was uh the children, she has locks, so the children wanted to touch her hair. They was asking her, did she know Tupac Shakur? And it was funny. So she, she was saying they eat guinea pig there and stuff. I was like, wow. And because of the elevation, like they were up high, so they had to watch. Like sometimes she felt a little lightheaded, but yeah, she's doing her thing. Both my children, like they're doing their thing. They're their own people, and they are doing their thing. They doing what they what they want to do in life for the most part. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was back to your question. It was interesting to I had to you wanna monitor who they're with. You wanna ask them about people that have conversation with them. I remember one time I was at a curriculum development forum, and so we were all working together and stuff, but it was a day where the children had school off, so my daughter was with me, and so she came. So there was this person there with their baby, and they were of another persuasion, and so they said so she was playing. So my daughter was playing with the baby. So so she told me later on. She said, "Mom, the lady was telling me that her baby's dad is black." I was like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Wonder why she told you that?" You know. So I said, "Why you think she told you that?" She said, "I don't know." I said, "She never told me that." She said she probably was scared to tell you that. I said, "Why would she be scared to tell me that?" Like, I don't care or whatever. But I remember when I got picked up for that curriculum. It was a curriculum session. We were working on a new curriculum for the school district of Philadelphia. And when I got picked up for that, and I showed up, they were a little shocked because my government name is Asia. So they were like, "Whoa, we were excited to meet you." And I said, I noticed that she said, "Were excited to meet you," and I was like, "Okay, I'm here. This is me." Yep. So I always, when we were in there, I was always giving that African perspective, like that Black perspective. Like, okay, so how does this affect Black children? Why is this important, for Black children? And so I was glad to be a part of that. But we always need one of us that care and know to, make sure that we share our position on whatever's going on in terms of, what's happening at the table. Because if you're not gonna sit at the table, then what is it you on the menu, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm like, I know we tired of being on the menu.
All right, Khamuo.
Yeah. Khamuo, you got any other questions before we move to
Oh,
close?
yeah, it's a lot of different things that I could definitely we can exchange, and I definitely can learn. But I think about the children that I'm working with now, and being reaching them the best way that I can, and and the many different ways in which I can approach them. Um, I guess one of the things that and it's funny, you talked about the legacy or the lineage that definitely came up. That's extremely important. But I noticed with our eighth graders, and it's really interesting group, because they're very self-conscious of their social interactions. So my approach with them is totally different with our younger students, and I try to reach them from a more I try to pull from things that that is currently going on. Some of the things that I think that they're going through, and I try to relate, and engage them more in discussion, try to hear where they are, because I just think that 13, 14 years old, they're about to make a transition, a major transition in their life. So I know that they're dealing with a lot of different developmental issues in terms of social identity, identifying with their peers. And sometimes though, they're so conscientious on what their peers are saying that I don't think that they're willing to open up as much, and
Yeah.
yeah, and really open up as much. But sometimes they really do surprise me because they want their culture. They want to know who they are. They want to know more. They want to know more and more. They're like, we want to know more. We want to know more. And I just, I mean, you give so much information in your book. I've began to start reading it. So much information, and but I'm always still curious of like the different ways of dealing with more, older students. And dealing with being able to relate to them, and really come across and bring forth this information. I guess sometimes I think that, okay, they're coming from a clean slate or coming from a standpoint of not having the information that we've been privy to, coming from a family that, are not privy to the information, but just like, introducing them to the knowledge of culture and, just like, impacting them the most. I don't know if I was clear with that question. But maybe you could share some of your experiences.
Okay, so another thing that Acclaim is about is to you want to start with the child. You want to start with that child, and then so in a sense peel back the layers, like like who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Like I would have my students do the story of their name, like doing the story of their name. That's so powerful because you come like your parents pulled in from all these different parts of the family in some instances, or their life experiences, and this is how they receive their name. And that is so powerful for them to know the story of their name. So, sorry, the story of their name. So, you want to start with them, who they are. So, for instance, write 10 positive things about yourself, and then write 10 challenging things. I don't say negative. Write 10 challenging things about yourself, And you explain to them what you mean by challenging. And then what's the solution? Like, what's the solution to those challenging things about yourself? The 10 positive things, you already got that. You good. But those 10 challenging things, what strategy or solution can you implement or put in place that will help you to deal with the challenge? And then move on from there. This is why building them family trees very important. Like, have them, do their family tree so that they can see and comprehend how they're connected to their elders on both of their sides, maternal and paternal, on both of their sides, both sides of their family, and see how they are connected. And once you start doing that, again, like them numbers, we walking with 8 million, so them numbers will start coming in. The names, the stories, all of that is just very, very important. Encourage them to make their own life story book, make your own our storybook. It's about you, starting with you, that kind of thing. And those things are very, very important. And they empower our children. They empower them, So those kind of things are, really good to do. It helps them to remain, like I said, remain on their circle, like even to just place them on their circle. And so it's just really powerful. Just something as simple as drawing a circle, putting their name in there, right? And then making a sun, like a family sun, with your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents, if you can go that far, or your aunts and uncles, because we understand that some argue for being raised, by their aunts and uncles or older cousins or whatever, So that kind of thing, it's very good to do. You gotta start with them and then move, let them blossom out in terms of building that knowledge about themselves and who they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good tip.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, as we move towards close, as an author, as a scholar, as an African warrior woman activist, as yourself, what other things are you currently doing? Are you writing a part 2 to Acclaim? What things are you, Dr. Adjua, working on currently? And how can people get in touch with you? How can people get a copy of Acclaim? And how can they contact you?
Okay, so I am working on a second book. It's called Letters from My Grandma. And these are my paternal grandparents were more practitioners of Moorish American. And so my grandmother wrote these letters. She would write to Noble Drew Ali, and she received answers back. I don't know if it was really him answering her back, but I have the letters. And so what I want to do is take those letters. I'm going to incorporate them into a book and add information that will discuss what happened on those letters. What else happened in African stories in terms of the dates of those letters? And so that's more of like a family project, really. But I really, like, it's in my head, and I have to get that done. I have about 5 books in my head, but that's the second one. That's the second one that I'm working on. I also study, within a kind group and my Wild Time Sisters as I can, in terms of I'm, dealing with my mom. And I'm always writing. I've been thinking about restarting my Blog Talk radio show, which I used to do a couple of years back. I've been thinking about doing that. I just got an invite to the Sankofa, the Sankofa Guild with Mama Maisha. I know I'm not saying the name right, but anyway, I sew, I make things, I'm crafty, I'm very crafty. And so I do that thing, and I actually would like to be in a position to teach younger women how to use their hands to make money. Oh, is that the okay? Is that the baby?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's my. Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, hi. Say
Oh,
hey. Say la hey, Adjua.
goodness. Okay. Wow.
Little.
So yeah, I have
Yeah.
I would like, I would like to do that because I think, well, not I think, it's definitely true that we have to definitely take different routes, because the so-called jobs thing, it never really kicked off too much for us in the first place. But now it's more prominent that that's something that's just not going to happen, for us, in terms of us being able to support ourselves and our families on it, like, over a 30, 40 year, 50 year period, so we definitely have to take some different routes in that way. And I'm doing a lot. Of course, I share as I can with the community. I support Black business. I am a Black owned business too, and so I sell my books. You can get my books. Anybody contact me on Adjua, IYAADJUA. Send me a message and we'll link up. The books are on demand, so I have 3 copies left, and the rest of them have to be pre-ordered. So I'm self-published, and so that's why the books are on demand, because I refuse to give that guy that owns Amazon any money. I try to control my little dollars whichever way I can, and so that's pretty much it. That's a lot right there. So yeah, those are the things I'm doing. The book, I'm taking care of my mom, my grandbabies, my family. The book is coming. The possibility of the Blog Talk Radio, building with the Sankofa Artists Guild. We was just finished, well, before COVID, before this pandemic hit. We were doing the feminine products for the young sisters in Africa, and I think they sent it to Kenya. I think it was another country that they sent them to, but they don't have the same access to feminine products like over here. But I was very honored and appreciative I appreciate love being a part of that process. And of course, working on my health, because I don't want to be a slave to pills. This is the pill nation, so I'm always working on my health and doing those. I think I am 70. I might be 70 days into intermittent fasting, and I'm trying to go ahead and do 24, and I'm doing my CMOS and walking, and so because I want to be here. I'm present, and I want to be here and be present. And when is the next drum circle? I've been missing them. Could y'all make sure y'all get that information? The location of the
this
next
Sunday, Mama Atiola's cafe.
Okay, I know where that is. Okay, what time?
Sunday at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock.
Okay, Sunday at 1. Okay. Yeah.
Love to have it. From 1 to 4. From 1 to 4.
Yeah.
All right, so my final words is this. I want to thank you. Well, first of all, I'm sending loving and healing energy to you and your family. May you have the blessing of wealth and happiness.
Yes.
I want to thank you for sharing your lessons, your life lessons, and your scholarship with us for our collective empowerment. I know I feel more empowered through this engagement with you. I also want to thank you for joining us on this journey towards African sovereignty and total liberation. This is all about. Last but not least, I thank you for your scholarship again for articulating the idea and ideology which I always try to present, that we are the Americas of the Ma'afa. We need to be reminded of that.
Yes.
We need to know that. We need to stand firm in that. And we need to visualize and move forward with that understanding that we are the miracles of the Ma'afa. So I thank you, Empress, for everything that you do.
Akitu, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm honored to be here and share with you all. I love sharing with my family, African people. It's what I do. I ask the ancestors every day to, be to help guide me, to continue guiding me in doing the work that they sent me here to do.
Yes.
Well, your legacy is sure secured in our community, that's for sure.
Yeah. I have supreme gratitude.
85 words.
Yes, I have supreme gratitude. This book was given to me as a gift this year, and it was sent to me. It was a surprise, and I was like, "Wow!" So I'm very grateful. And so it was like, to know that you were going to be on here, I was like, "This is beautiful."
Yes,
so, I'm very grateful to just to have you here with us and sharing your knowledge, and I'm inspired, absolutely.
Yes.
By your example.
I'm honored that you are inspired. I'm honored. Yes. I received that. Yes.
Indeed.
I'll say that the book Acclaim was, when it first came out, was the rage. I said, I got to get this book. I got to read what, Adjua was putting down. And I went out and got a copy. And I've always had a love and appreciation for such a great book. Your scholarship, your research, you analyzing and really focusing in on the needs of African youth, because I think that's what we're all about. I know Khamuo directly works with our youth in the public school system. I know that Farugh and Khamuo have dealt with rites of passage programs, as I have.
Yes.
And always really, really, really striving to focus on the youth, because it's critical. You know what I mean? This is about intergenerational transmission.
Yes, it is.
Pass on what it is that we have to the future generations and yet the unborn. So it's our work, it's our call. This is what we do. This is not just a fad. This is a way of life. And I respect you and love you immensely. I just thank you for just agreeing to come on the show. We've been working on it for a while, but I had to respect your schedule. I had to respect what the Orisha, the Abosun, the Nturu told you that, look, I can't do the show just yet, but maybe in October or November we can do it, and you made it happen. And I'm just glad to have you, and you're welcome back on the Sonic and Ngoma anytime you want to come back. We tell that to all of our guests, but we definitely thank you for being with us tonight and sharing with us. And much love to you. So Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi, Kuti Tiwala.
Asante Sana. Yes.
Asante.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brothers. I appreciate all your time and the questions. It was good conversation. And definitely let's do it again.
Yes, soon.
Again.
Definitely.
So Adjua, I'm on Adjua on all the social media. Was it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Where else am I? I'm on Pinterest. I'm on Tumblr. I don't use Tumblr too much, but I am on there. So, and YouTube. No, YouTube is Wahemi Mesu Productions. That's my business, Wahemi Mesu Productions. But if you look me up on YouTube and you type in Adjua, you'll see my other places where I've spoken, and I'm going to be tightening that up as well. I'm going to be adding more videos to that, including this one. So thank you, brothers. Everyone have a great night. Keep it African. Let's keep on doing
Yes,
this.
we will.
We all we got, and we're all we need.
We all we need.
That's
That's
right.
right.
That's right.
I
That's
say.
right.
I say. I had a
Um,
great night.
definitely. And with that, we just want to remind everybody that if you want to contact the African Independence Day Organizing Committee, Urban Shamans Productions, Be Maat Incorporated, you can see the bottom ticker go by. Please feel free to visit us at AfricanIndependenceDay.org. That is the official webpage of the African Independence Day Maat celebration. We hope to have our 17th African Independence Day Maat celebration, as well as our fifth or sixth annual African Do For Self Junkanoo this coming August 2021. Matter of fact, mark it down your calendars. Willfully with this COVID thing, it will be slated for Saturday, August the 7th, 2021 at Malcolm X Park to have our 17th annual African Independence Day Maat celebration and our 5th annual African Do For Self Junkanoo. So you can go to AfricanIndependenceDay.org for all information that you need on African Independence Day, as well as urban shamans, the music, videos. We got a lot of content, and we want you to go there as well as visit our virtual African marketplace with our vendors, who we know because of COVID have been hit very, very hard. There have not been a lot of events going on, and we want for you all to please support our African vendors out there. So we started an African virtual marketplace. We are still in talks to have our Buy Black pre-Kwanzaa celebration, which I'm sure the three of us will discuss, to have it in December, to give our vendors opportunity to have a place to sell their goods and their items, as well as to have our pre-Kwanzaa celebration. So stay tuned for that in the next, in the coming days and coming weeks. But you could also contact us by email on at AfricanIndependenceDay@gmail.com. African spelled AFRKAN @gmail.com. You can also contact us by phone. We have a business line. Our number is 267-521-1544. Once again, that's 267-521-1544. And you can always reach us on social media. At Facebook, you can reach us at the 16th Annual African Independence Day Maat Celebration. And on Instagram, on IG, you can reach us at African_Independence Day. So with that, any final thoughts, brothers, before we turn it over to another page next week?
Look forward to seeing everyone next week.
We are the miracles of the Ma'afa family. Believe that. Believe that.
I say, y'all. So with that, for myself, Brother Oláyínká, for my brother Farugh Maat, for my brother Khamuo, Heru, and once again, thanks to our special guest, Dr. Adjua Heru. Thank you all for being with us. We will see you once again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. right here on Do the Knowledge Radio. And let's show love once again for the drummer. Give the drummer some. Brother Knowledge Born of Love, CEO and founder of Do the Knowledge Radio. So without you, we love you, brother. Peace to God. We'll see you next week, once again, 7 p.m. for another edition of the Sonic and Ngoma. With that, Abibifahoodie, Abibitumi, Kuji Watila, Wakusu, Black Power.
Peace.
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 Yeah. Now we gonna tell them. That in front. We tell them like this, yo. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a African. Yeah, y'all like that? No more. This man's mind is open. I'm an African. I'm a African. I'm an African. I'm a. Let's get
and
back
that
to
motive
the
is best developed by recognizing the common enemy.